Hey, Maya.
Hi there.
Hey, good to have you. I see you're getting to be like a popular speaker. I saw you in some webinars, and yeah, I'm totally passionate. We are all here in this summit very passionate about all these fintechs and these banks and
Yeah, I just
neobanks.
love talking about fintech.
Yes. So the stage is yours, but before we talk about the Chime and these things, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself so people will get their perspective.
So to introduce myself a little bit, I actually have an engineering background, and I started my first company in 2012 as an e-commerce company, and I was a co-founder and CTO. And because I was an e-commerce company with this subscriptions component, that's how I tripped into the world of payments and fintech. And I got really intimately aware of our customers' financial situation and how unstable Americans' finances were. And I really wanted to work on that. So I started Pinch in order to use software to help Americans become more financially stable. We didn't know how we were going to do that. And so we explored a bunch of different things. We really thought it was going to be an insurance product to start. But where we found the biggest opportunity was building a financial inclusion company. And our core product offering was that we built credit scores with payments so people could build their credit just by paying their rent. Um, this is a pretty US specific product based on the oligopoly of how we have these publicly endorsed but privately owned credit bureaus that dictate much of people's lives, not just their access to loans, but also apartments and employment eligibility. It even affects how much they pay for car insurance.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. We built that. People loved it. It was a really, really popular product, but we didn't have a very good business model. And so we sold Pinch to Chime in the summer of 2018,
Wow.
and we're able to use like what we had learned in our resources and our connections and software so that build the credit building credit card at Chime, which is a novel product. It's a 100% secured credit card where the credit limit is dynamically based off of the deposit. And yeah, so that's me. Now I work at
Wow.
Chime. And yeah, I spend a lot of time tweeting about fintech and thinking about the future of the space.
What is your role specifically in Chime?
Yeah, so I work on the product team at Chime, and my role is it's technically called Voice of the Member, and I'm starting this new organization that is all around making sure we get feedback from our members, whether that's through customer service tickets, app store reviews, social media, anywhere it might show up, Reddit forums, and feeding that into the product prioritization process so that we're building the right things for our members. I also get to run some cool things like our own employee testing program and things like that to sort of like inculcate a lot of empathy for Chime members.
Wow. And so this is like your community. That's how you build a community and the product around it, like the features or
So
listening
I'm
to the
not
pain.
building any community. We do have a social media team, and we have a lot of people who work on that. I'm very specifically sort of looking at Chime members' complaints, doing some root cause analysis to find out what's actually going on, and then making sure that we can build a product that fits better in their lifestyle.
Tell me a little bit, how is like the onboarding? Because a lot of our users are, they're not from the US, so they cannot unfortunately use your product. How is the look and feel, the UI, the UX, the onboarding process? How many clicks? How many, like, how
So
innovative?
easy. It's so fast. It's so easy. And it's crazy. I even sometimes forget how innovative it is because we really have until you go to a brick and mortar bank and it's an hours long process to sign up for a bank account and you get a stack of paperwork and you have to sign a million times. I mean, that's really crazy. But at Chime, it's very easy to sign up for a new account. And we also don't discriminate. So that's actually a really core part of the product offering is that basically it's like any like legitimate identity verified non-fraudulent American is allowed to sign up for a Chime account, and so we like to be very inclusive in that way.
Do you have a cool card also? You have a premium or a standard card, or how does it go? I mean,
We really don't. So we have two cards today. We have our Chime debit card, And then we have the secured credit card. Um, we have, we look at Europe, and Europe, the neobanks there certainly have a lot of premium card offerings. They're hugely popular with people. People love having the metal cards like that. They love, and they're willing to pay a lot for that because it's a status symbol. We haven't quite decided. So there's a couple things. So first, we haven't had the need to introduce a premium product so far because we have an incredible business model even without it. And that's a relic of being in the United States. Interchange rates on debit cards are much higher than they are in Europe. So we get that luxury where we don't have to have sort of a freemium business model in the same way that the European challenger banks are kind of forced to. Now, that's not saying that we won't do it or we would never do it. But when we're designing products, like I said, we're trying to be really closely tied to our members' financial health and saving them bank fees and helping them live financially healthy lives. So if we were to introduce a product where our members are paying us money, we'd want to make sure that that's ultimately providing like more value than they're paying, and really looking out for their finances.
So what are the popular features that you can mention, stuff that people love using from what you're hearing and seeing?
Yeah, so we think about it in two different ways. So I think about the features that cause people to sign up for Chime, and then we have the features that are why they stay with Chime and why they retain, and those are different. So why people sign up for Chime, people love, we have a feature where you can get paid up to 2 days early. That is just a relic of how we're interpreting the ACH system. So we're not actually taking a risk on them, but they do get paid as soon as we get it. We don't hold that. And so
you call it you have a specific name for that, like for the feature? Because it sounds amazing.
I wonder if we call it, I don't think we do, maybe early payday.
Yeah.
I think we just say get paid up to 2 days early.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that's one of the top reasons why people sign up. We also have a free overdraft feature where members can borrow up to $100 for free. They can choose to leave us a tip when they pay it back, but they don't have to. It doesn't affect their eligibility. And so that's if they run out of money before they get their next paycheck. So those are the top two reasons that people sign up for Chime. When you think about why people stay with Chime, it's very different, right? So the reason they stay with us, because the novelty of those things, it kind of wears off quickly. But the reason they stay with us is there's a ton of transparency, right? Not just with the agreement you have with Chime, but where your money is. We send you a push notification every morning with your current balance. We send you a push notification every time a card transaction happens. We send you an email every time a direct deposit or an ACH direct debit happens. Like there's so much information, and you always know your current balance and what's happening with your transactions. And I think that provides this peace of mind that people really like. The other reason they say is, right, we have very low fees. We only have one fee, which is our out-of-network ATM fee. Nothing else charges fees. So there's no minimum balance fee. There's no, I don't know, like we have free mobile check deposit. We have free, like a big free ATM network. And so I think people look at their bank accounts and they see that they're paying so much less in fees, and they really value that. That's true. Then there's also the ecosystem. So we have a feature called Pay Friends, which does instant payments to anyone else who has a Chime account. And it's like a little bit more powerful than some of the peer-to-peer payments apps, because the money is immediately available in your bank account. You can spend it, or you can pay your bills. You can do whatever you do with your bank account. You don't have to wait to transfer it. And so we find that people, if their friends are using Chime and they're using Chime, it's just so fast and easy that they like to stay with us for a long time.
Wow. And I hear a lot about the US every time we talk about cashback and stuff like that, rewards. Anything around these two, or how is it like for you? Like,
we just thought, we could do that. We don't offer any cashback rewards today. We do, really what we've found is that there's like 1% of people who are real optimizers, and they really like these systems, and it's a hobby. I'm not like that right now, but I have been at times in my life where I'm really interested in like all the different credit cards and what are my spend categories and how do I get the sign up bonuses and all that type of thing. I think it's a fine hobby, frankly. And there's 1% of people who really like doing that, and they're really into that. 99% of people are not, they don't want to optimize their like that. They just want it to work, right? They want to be able to buy the things they want in their life. They want their money to work for them instead of them working for their money. And so we've just found that we're more able to create the experience our customers want by providing them, right, all that clarity, the transparency, control over their money, where it's going, the low fees. These are the experiences that people really want with their money. They don't really care about like the gimmicks.
The customers that are getting in Chime, their demographics, their age group, is it a certain age? Is it like, because it's still like innovative and new and exciting. So I wonder like, what are the demographics here?
Yeah, so it's very average American. And when you look at, right, we have members in all 50 states. Um, Really, it's following the population centers of the US. We do have a lot of millennials and younger people on our product. But one of the interesting things that we've seen with COVID is that it's been the start of really attracting a much older user base. So we see a lot of people who would have preferred um, a in-person bank, but now that they can't go anywhere in person, they're inclined to check us out. And when they do check us out, they find a product that they really love. I even think of, we talked about this on 11FS, right? My mom, who just started using Apple Pay because of COVID. And she could have been using Apple Pay for years. And in fact, I set it up on her phone. I really tried to get her to do it. I was like, it's fast, it's secure, you don't have to get your wallet out. But she never saw the reason to. And now with COVID, that she's looking to like make payments really quickly, not touch anything, be very safe. She's converted over to Apple Pay, and she's telling me, she says, Maya, this is such a great way to pay for things. And I'm like, Mom, I know. I've been trying to tell you that forever. And I think it's a permanent change, you know? So I really think that older Americans are permanently shifting to a more digital way of banking because they've kind of been forced to use it, but now that they're forced to use it, they see the advantages.
Yes, yes. I was about to ask you about COVID because now you can go to a branch. And did you see any like a tons of users coming your ways, or like do you see any change?
Yeah, so like I said, right, we've seen a ton of growth from people who, right, it's like if you were going to sign up for a new bank account and you were going to go in person and now you can't, you're going to look for the best online bank and then you're going to find us. We've also seen different behavior in our existing customer base, right? Because, you know, we're not really an online bank. Like it works in the real world. You swipe your card, you get cash out of an ATM, you can do cash deposits, like you can do everything that you need to do in the world. But now that people are spending less time in the world, we certainly see the percentage of our transactions that happen in person, right? Like that's gone down. And there's been this huge shift over to e-commerce.
Mhm. Any new features or stuff that are coming that you want to discuss? I mean, it's very clear. I mean, you have a good product. People get it and get what they need to do with it. Anything that came recently, like a new partnership, a new thing that you want to share with the audiences here?
Yeah, so we, you know, we're constantly like trying to serve our members better. I think the newest announced features, honestly, it's our credit building credit card. So we launched that in June. There's still a wait list, but we're taking people off the wait list as fast as we can. And we're really excited about, you know, we don't qualify people off of FICO or their existing credit score. We just use our internal data to qualify our members, and we think it could have a really big impact on people's lives. Like I started off the call, it's like there's the stuff you think about, like a qualifying for credit card or having a lower mortgage rate. But then there's all the little insidious factors that you don't think about, like apartment eligibility and cheaper car insurance and employment eligibility that your credit score affects. And so I think improving people's credit score is a really important part of financial health.
Yeah, even today at the summit, we had a talk with all kinds of niche banks that are starting in the U.S. I mean, you have the banks for the freelancers, the gig economy. You have even for the gay community. We interviewed the Black community. Like, what is your perspective? Like before we finish the interview, about the overall, where is it going in the US? What's the wave? What's the next thing?
Yeah, I think that we've really reduced the barriers to sign up, right? And like I said, Chime, it's super easy to sign up. You can do it really quickly within minutes. And then from that perspective, it makes sense that there's the whole flurry of bank accounts. I think a couple of different things. So some of these things, like the bank for gig economy and stuff like that, they're really, it's not a business, it's really just features, and they're features that could be built on top of Chime and potentially should be, and is a little more powerful if they are.
Yeah.
So I think that that's one thing to keep in mind is, and I also think, I meet up with a lot of early stage folks, and everybody tells me they're like building a bank for X, a bank for Y. I think people really underestimate it's still quite hard to build a bank. And even like if you wanted to build just the basic features of Chime, right? You have a debit card, and it works for transactions. You have ACH payments. That's it, just the most basics. I think that's a lot bigger lift than most people expect. And so when they want to build a basic bank and then some extra stuff on top, it's really going to be a pretty intense process that I think they underestimate. So a lot of them are features, but one of the things I'm excited about is I think it makes it really easy for people to manage their money if they have separate buckets. And so I like the existence of all these different free, easy to sign up for low maintenance bank accounts from that. And I really like tools like Astra, which automates money movement between all your different accounts, so that it's easier to balance your finances.
Definitely, you have an interesting role over there, overseeing and hearing the users, and that's amazing. And I can't wait, to catch up with you and see what is next, what is coming for you, and Chime, of course. Thank you very much. We really, a lot of people waited for this talk and super interested. Where can they learn more about you and Chime and everything?
Yeah, so honestly, I know this is going to sound funny, but my favorite place to direct people to for Chime is to follow us on Instagram. So it's just instagram.com/Chime. It's actually quite funny and quite useful information about personal finances. So I send people Chime's Instagram. For me, my one and only place on the internet is my Twitter profile. So it's at Maia B. And I talk a lot about the latest fintech news there.
Yeah, that's how I found you. All right. Thank
so
you.
So great chatting with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and good luck, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.